Welcome to another edition of the D&D Morning Show. We're back at it. Got some new topics here.
Ba-dum-bing!
Or a new topic.
A new topic.
We're not going to talk about topics today. Let me give you the rundown. Today we'll start off with the fun fact about these mugs. And then our whole topic today is going to be how to improve your bowel movements with CTP. That was hard for me to say with a straight face.
It's going to be a fun show.
It's going to be poopy.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if Dorothy's ready for a show like this. I said there's a lot of people that deal with bowel movements, like bowel movement issues.
Problems.
I can't even bring that up without Dorothy cracking up. So we're going to be professional
I'm sorry.
about this.
I'm going to try to be
but we're going to have some fun.
Yes. And then we're going to talk about CTP. Well, we're going to kind of intertwine the topics together. So the main topic is how to improve your bowel movements with CTP. So we'll be talking about CTP and some recipe ideas for CTP as well. More so baking recipes, so snacks. And then we'll end off with a quote about bowel movements.
You'll enjoy it.
All right, let's get into it. Drew, let's start off with our fun fact.
So these cups, this says, Happy New Year!
In Sinhala. I bet you didn't know we knew how to speak Sinhala, did you?
We don't. So we have a good friend that's, his name's Dylan, and he owns a couple of restaurants, and we love his food. We met him a number of years ago, and he just recently, we go out and we hang out together, and we just recently were invited to a Sri Lanka New Year.
Because Drew did not mention that Dylan is Sri Lankan. So
I did not.
our friend Dylan is Sri Lankan. So we went to Sri Lankan New Year's party.
She's just re-explaining the whole thing.
Okay, go ahead.
What I just explained. She's like, maybe I should explain it my
Better.
way. It's better. So, anyways, it was fantastic. The culture was amazing, and they had traditional dancing. They had their traditional dress gear on, clothing. I was waiting for you to help me out there.
I couldn't think of the word. I'm like, not costume. That's not the right word. Clothing.
And they're dancing and singing, so it was very cool. It was like an honor to be invited because basically everyone else was Sri Lankan, and then Sri Lankan, and it was just us.
Yes.
A couple other people that may not fit, but it was very cool. They had a mic, and they thanked us for coming as special guests. It was very cool.
Mm-hmm. You know what is so interesting and so heartwarming is, like Drew was saying, the culture. Like, they stick so close to their culture and traditions. It's just amazing. And I feel like in our culture, like, those things get lost.
Yeah.
Like, one of the rituals that they presented to us during the day was you honor your parents and your grandparents, so your elders. So they have this whole little kind of ritual,
Like
or
mini ceremony
where you get this special leaf. And of course we had to ask, it was all in Sinhala, so we had to ask lots of questions so we knew what was happening. But there was this symbolism around the leaf, and then they bow and pray and give respect to their elders, and it's just was so heartwarming. Like, these little itty bitty kids, 2-3 years old, and doing this little respect ritual to
and
their
adults
elders.
too.
And adults, yeah.
Adults were doing similar to their grandparents, or
Right.
maybe.
Yeah.
So it's incredible to be a part of that. So,
Part of it.
anyways, we wanted to share that with you, and they gave us these little mugs to take home. So they're very cool, and we feel like they're like a gift that is very meaningful. So
Yes.
we really appreciate that. All right, let's carry on.
Moving on to our main topic, improving bowel movements. And I will be more serious now. But it's a Drew needs earmuffs when he sits beside me. He always, when we first start hanging out, Drew's always like, I'm like, what is wrong with you?
They would.
Why do you keep doing
She
that?
thought I had like a nervous tick.
Like, he keeps doing this. And then finally I just said, what's going on here? What are you doing? He's like, you are so loud. I'm like, well, you're just going to have to get used to that.
Dorothy's so loud. If you think she's loud on camera, you should be in front of her.
It's just...
Tell them what the teachers say when you're in the classroom, or in the building.
In the building. Well, because I've been doing, lots of subbing this year. Some of the teachers are like, oh, I knew you were here today because I heard you laughing.
I could hear you from all the way down the hall. So Dorothy laughs that loud, this far from me. And I'm like, ah!
Sensitive ears. Sensitive.
I would like to talk or laugh or be that loud in front of Dorothy's ear. She likes it.
Do it. I'm immune. I grew up in a really loud family.
Very loud.
Like, we just are loud people. And so I'm used to it.
That family is not.
Anyway, main topic. Let's get back to that.
Yes.
Many people suffer from improper bowel movements. And you know what? I think we've just come to accept that. I know I was one of those people. I had really horrible digestion and in return, really horrible bowel movements that weren't regular and so on and so on. So I think we just come to accept that's the way it is. Every time I eat, I have to run to the bathroom. And for me, it was like clockwork. Like every time I ate, I would be like going to the bathroom. And if I was at somebody else's house or if I was at a restaurant, I would actually position myself close to the bathroom. Or if there wasn't a bathroom available, I just wouldn't eat. I would just be hungry.
Did you know that?
Because I did not want to go through that. And it can be painful. Can be really so much discomfort that it's painful.
Well, I think that, usually we hear about the opposite. Like people aren't able to, like constipation is a big thing.
Oh yeah,
so
that too.
People aren't able to go to the bathroom on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you were...
That was the opposite issue. Every time I ate, it just, woo, right through me.
Yeah.
And not pleasantly.
So I think that realizing what Dorothy was saying is the first thing, like the first point and goal we want to express to you is that just because that feels normal to you or because it's been happening for so long, doesn't mean it is normal, doesn't mean it has to be that way or stay that way. And it's really based around food. Like once we have better nutrition going into our gut, into our intestines, our body can process food at a higher rate. And our body can utilize and turn into energy, which is why we were supposed to eat way back when.
Yeah.
We eat for different purposes now, but we want to eat to nutritionize our body. And by putting better quality foods into your body processes it much differently.
Mm-hmm. And, we should be having regular bowel movements, every day.
You should have a bowel movement every day. Usually in the morning is your body, your gut, your intestines are more relaxed and you just slept, like your body was at rest. Many times when we have a big giant meal in the evening and then our body is trying to process that food. And that's why we don't get a restful night's sleep. That's why we don't have any energy in the mornings, because our body takes all the energy from our entire body that's supposed to be healing our body and puts it to our gut and into our intestines, and it's trying to process and it's trying to digest. So when you wake up and you don't feel great, it's because your body just took all that energy and put it in one area.
Mm-hmm. And whenever, there's different topics that we talk about, for example, hydration and now we're talking about the digestion and the bowel movements. But whatever it is, it always relates to the day before. So, for example, if you wake up and you have no energy, that's because of something that happened the day before. And most likely, like Drew said, we had our nutrition wasn't very great, or we had a huge meal before we went to bed. So whenever you're not feeling the best on a particular day, always look to what happened the day before, not the day of.
So
That's how body works.
So just a couple of things. So pay attention to your bowel movements and how often they are. It's a good chance you need more fiber in your diet. And I know that people say, oh, you need to eat like bran or have like a bran muffin to increase the fiber. But there's a lot of different things. We need a well-balanced meal of fiber. And a lot of that comes from greens, for example. But we need that.
Greens are our friend.
We need that to help our body digest. And then I think working towards or trying to have a bowel movement every day. So if you don't have a bowel movement every day, or if it's like once a week or once every 3 days, that means there's something not going on properly there. And I think that's important to understand and recognize, is that we want to have everything flushed out. Those toxins, those substances our body isn't using, it needs to get rid of it somehow. And if that's not happening, we're storing that inside our body, which is causing it to release toxins in different areas.
Mm-hmm. And on the flip side, if you are having the runs, let's just say it that way, every time that you're eating, then something isn't right either, right?
Yep.
So we need to look to food.
Right. Fermented food is a big one that we talk about all the time. That can certainly help with digestion and help with proper movements. And then pay attention to how much you eat out, because many times they put in all kinds, like MSG, they put in different types of oils, rancid usually. And when we have, like, if you eat, then you have to run to the bathroom right away. There's usually something in that food that that shouldn't be in there.
And that's how I know that MSG is in food. If I eat out, and because immediately bathroom, so I'm like, oh darn, there was MSG in that, most likely.
And the other thing is paying attention to your bowel movements the next morning after you eat. So if you go and eat out, then the next morning things didn't really come out right, then just pay attention, because then you don't want to go back to that same place.
No.
Like, don't keep going to the same place that causes your body to have, like, reject the food that's coming out. Like, it should be nice and smooth. And shouldn't
easy.
Should be easy.
It shouldn't be difficult.
Shouldn't be runny, and it shouldn't be like straining. It should come out nice and natural. Something that we talk about often is Complete Truth Protein. So CTP, Complete Truth Protein, is a product. It's our product that we designed, and one that we recommend often because of the amount of nutrients in it. And so sometimes people say, and these are usually the people that don't have regular or proper bowel movements, is they say, well, I had some of your protein, and I have to go to the bathroom right away, or I have to go to the bathroom the next morning. And we're like, well, you should be going to the bathroom.
You should be going to the bathroom.
And I think that's just the mindset of not having proper or frequent bowel movement. So we need to have foods that have proper fiber in them, I suppose, to help our body digest and break down foods.
And if you're having the opposite problem, like sometimes we get people that say, oh, I started having CTP and I don't have diarrhea anymore. Right. So it does work in both ways, right? Constipation and diarrhea.
But see, what fiber does is it slows the digestion process. So many times if you have diarrhea on a regular basis, there's not enough fiber to slow the digestion process, so it hits your belly and just kind of flushes out. So if you have proper fiber to slow digestion, you don't run into that problem as much. And then the opposite, it sounds counterintuitive, but when you have the proper amount of fiber, it helps break down your food, and it helps you make or have proper bowel movements and improves your digestion. So we always recommend trying 1 tablespoon to begin with. Start with 1 tablespoon, slowly increase to 3 over a couple weeks, over a few weeks. But that's the reason why, because not only are a lot of times people are used to synthetic flavors like cookies and cream or strawberry.
Chocolate.
It's a whole food supplement, so it tastes like food. It doesn't taste like a conventional supplement. So that's why we recommend starting off slow. Many people don't really notice the taste at all. But then when it comes to bowel movements, if you throw a whole whack of protein in there, not really paying attention, you might have a bowel movement that you're not used to. And then all of a sudden you're scared or worried, like, oh my gosh, something's wrong with the product. But there's nothing wrong with the product. That's something that is a benefit of using a good quality product like CTP.
So for our recipe of the week, we wanted to talk more generally. It's not a specific recipe, but we talked about adding more nutrients, more fiber into your diet to improve your bowel movements. So snacks is a great way to do that, and lots of times our snacks are just kind of filler meals, and they're not so nutritious. Lots of times that's what's going on when we're having improper bowel movements. So CTP is great to add nutrients and fiber to your own homemade snacks. So we have protein balls. That is one of our top, I guess.
Fan favorite.
Top sellers. Top seller. Maybe that's what I was looking for. We don't sell them. And it's super easy to make because they're no bake. So you just put some rolled oats in there, some CTP, and a couple other ingredients, honey and vanilla, and you just roll it all up and mix it all up, roll it into balls, and there you go. And it's a highly nutritionally dense.
Nutritious.
Nutritionally dense.
Oh my.
I'm getting all strung up in words now. But it's just packed full of nutrients, which will help with digestion. We have cookie recipes as well. Another popular one is our peanut butter cookies. Same thing, there's 5 ingredients, CTP is one of them. And you just mix everything in the same bowl, roll them up and bake them for about 12 minutes. So super quick and easy to make.
And all these recipes are on the trueformlife.com. Just click the recipes tab. We actually have a CTP recipe tab on its own that you can access whenever you like. So you can find these recipes here. But I think when it comes to digestion, we need to have snacks throughout the day. That's another way to improve our digestion, and not only to energize our bodies, but improve our digestion in general. So if you're having these healthy snacks throughout the day, instead of having a coffee and a pastry at 10 o'clock, and then you have a late lunch at 3, and then a late dinner at 6 or 7, I mean, that wouldn't be something that we'd recommend to improve digestion.
Another recipe, I'll just say one more here that's fan favorite and family like kid approved, is our banana chocolate chip muffins. They're delicious. And instead of our flour, a regular flour, we use CTP to boost the nutrient quality. So check those out, trueformlife.com. Hit the recipes tab. You can also, in the top right corner of our homepage, you can search a recipe. So just type in cookies, muffins, or protein balls, and the recipes will pop up for you.
That's right. We got a quote to end off with?
We do. And it says, if you listen to your body when it whispers, you won't have to hear it scream. And I thought that was good in relation to our main topic today of digestion, because when your body is whispering to you, like, maybe don't eat that, that's going to hurt later.
Main topic of bowel movements.
Our main topic of bowel movements, yeah. So sometimes you know it's going to end badly, but you don't listen to that whisper, and then you hear it scream in the bathroom. So anyway, I just thought that was very fitting quote for our topic today.
It's a good quote because we know that if you go out and order the worst things from the menu, you're going to pay for it later. And we know that. And we've all been there. We've all been there like, oh, I shouldn't order that. And then the next morning or later that night, you're like, nah,
I want to do that.
So it's very fitting. Pay attention to your body, and it always tells you what we need to know. We just need to listen.
That's a wrap.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the D&D Morning Show.
We'll catch you on the next episode.
See you guys.
Bye.